Good evening, everyone. I'm your host, Isha Roy at Adore. Before we dive in, let me give you a quick glimpse into Adore. Adore is a global network of students and young professionals like yourselves, all passionate about inspiring youth to make a positive impact. We connect you with established professionals and offer a platform to learn from their journeys. On behalf of Team Maverick and Adore, we thrilled to welcome you to this webinar on the role of social media in disinformation. To make this session even more engaging, we kindly request everyone to switch on their cameras. Now, the moment we all have been waiting for, our esteemed guest speaker for tonight is Miss Tsitsi Audrey Dowera. Miss Audrey has BSc Honours degree in social work and also has executive certificate in program and project monitoring and evaluation. Miss Audrey, it's a true honor to have you with us today. We are all eager to gain valuable insights from your expertise. Miss Audrey, the floor is yours.
All right. It's good afternoon from my side and good afternoon from your side. My name is Tsitsi Audrey, and I'm going to be sharing you about information on disinformation. And are we all aware of what disinformation is? Before we start the lecture or something, before we start our webinar, are we aware of what disinformation is? Maybe you can show by raising your hand. Sorry, I'm gonna switch off my video. Why? Because my network will be jumping. So will you allow me to switch off my video?
Yes, no problem.
Yes, you can switch off your video.
So are we aware of what disinformation is before we get into the webinar?
I think the wrong information which is passed through social media. We'll discuss about it.
Can you come again?
I think the wrong information which is passed through social media, we will discuss about it, right?
Yeah, thank you so much for your contribution. So
Misleading informations.
So today we're going to dive in on what is social media disinformation and how these two tools will work together in spreading false news. And how do I slide to the next slide? All right, thank you so much. So introduction to disinformation. So by the end of this webinar, audience should be able to define misinformation and disinformation and why people create it. Secondly, to distinguish the difference between true and false information shared on social media. Thirdly, to highlight the role of social media and how it plays in spreading misleading information and its impact. And fourthly, ways to counter disinformation in our communities and tools that we can use to fact check. So I'll be sharing some videos with you, so you have to listen intensively so that you'll be able to give me feedback. I hope everyone will be doing so. Thank you so much. And we move on to the next slide. Misinformation is when people share information without realizing that it is false or misleading, often because they want to help and with genuine intentions. Are we all clear on that? Yes. You innocently share this information and you do not even know that it is harmful to the society or yourself. And disinformation is when people intentionally create false information to make money, damage someone's reputation, or to cause trouble or harm. We all know social media influencers. We all know these fake news websites. These people get paid so that they can share this information to cause havoc in the societies. So That is disinformation. So the difference between misinformation and disinformation is that misinformation is unintentional and disinformation is intentional. Okay? Social media are interactive technologies that facilitate the creation and sharing and aggregation of content amongst virtual communities and networks. What am I saying? We all know that we have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have WhatsApp, we have LinkedIn, we have X, we have YouTube, we have TikToks and Thread. X was used to be called Twitter. Now it's X. So these
Yeah.
are the social media handles that people use to share information, whether it's correct or maybe it's not correct. Can we move on to the next slide? Okay. So what are the characteristics of misinformation and disinformation? Misinformation is inaccurate information or false information. It results in misunderstandings and it results in mistakes and it has outdated data. Priya, can I share with my document because it's been moving and losing focus.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh, it's
you can share.
I can share my document with the
Yes,
other
yeah, of
people.
yes.
So
course.
it will be. Hold on a second. Okay, so we are here. Can everyone see?
No,
Can you see?
no, we can't see.
Okay, let me start again. Okay. So can we see now?
Yeah,
Okay, let's move on. So, misinformation results in misunderstandings, mistakes, and usually it is characterized with outdated data. And as I said earlier on, it's unintentional spread. The person who is spreading the information, remember, he or she is innocent. And what are the characteristics of disinformation? Intentional spread, deliberate deception and manipulation. We all have been manipulated once with false information. I know, and everyone is not innocent. And maybe you have shared intentionally some information so that you could harm someone's reputation. I know there are people who always do that to demean other people. So creation and dissemination by individuals, we myself, organizations, and maybe the governments. Strategic crafting to appear credible. So you can't really you can't even distinguish the real information and no real information if you are not a fact checker. And exploitation of existing biases and divisions in the society, like what is happening in the world. It's all resulting from misinformation and disinformation. Um, why are people using social media to spread misleading information? Social media makes it easy to manipulate and fabricate information. The likes of AI, we've seen that AI has been generated, and you can't be using AI without a social media handle, a technical gadget, or anything else. You have to have something with technology inside of it. So, wide reach of audience. Imagine how information goes viral on the internet. Almost everyone tend to be glued on social media. So information tend to be shared easily and it goes viral. But are we saying, is this information correct or is not? Also, people are using social media for profitable reason. Monetization of information has led to social media influencers doing anything today to gain popularity and spread false information. We've all seen that our social media experts or social media influencers, they are sharing information that is also harmful to the communities. And at the end of the day, we see communities moving towards each other, causing havoc, violence, and all of those things. But is it true? And they incite violence. Some social media pages develop controversial information, destructive information to raise people's emotions, self-motives, to divert attention to one side, um, to mislead communities, slowing the progress of some community initiatives. For example, we've seen in COVID-19, people were receiving information that maybe if you get a COVID-19 vaccination, you are going to die tomorrow. If you get a COVID-19 vaccination, you'll be not able to give birth. So imagine all this information is, for example, misleading information on vaccination slows the programs of health organizations. Someone is trying to help you for free and you're not receiving the information very well. At the end of the day, the health progress is limited. So how can false information be spotted online? Fake news often appeals to emotions and instincts. Think about it. Does the news appeal? Why does the news appeal to you? It is clear where the information comes from. Check if the information is coming from a verifiable source, or if it is not, be skeptical and do not share. It starts with you. Do not share false information. Fact check before you do anything, because this is going to be a problem, and you are going to be creating a problem in the community if you don't fact check your information. Does the person or the website spreading the information seem credible? There are other people who are not credible. There are social media. I know on Instagram, there are people who just share information that they don't even know about. So just check if that person is credible. Is this person from a media house? Is this person from a newspaper or something? So that you can be able to say this information is correct before you send it to anyone else. Check on the wording, the grammar. A dubious layout and spelling mistakes, usually you see them on social media and you see them on those articles. Usually the information lacks some credible grammar. The spelling mistakes and maybe the wording, you have font times one new Roman numeral and all of those things, just mixed up information. If it seems to be false, don't share. Look for more information on the topic to compare and cross out if you send, and check if you can send to other person. Please, again, I'm begging you guys, you have to fact check the information that you're sending before doing anything else, before sending the information. So, what are the other examples of disinformation, misleading information that you have seen on social media or that you have heard about in your society? So I'm giving the floor to you. Maybe if we can have one or two people who can just share what misleading information they've come across on social media or in their society. Can we have a volunteer who can be able to share some information that they know that it was false, and what did you do
So,
about it?
so,
Or we can move on if we do not have any volunteer. Hello?
hello.
Yeah, can we have one volunteer for us so that we can move on?
So we can just move on. I think nobody here have any misleading information.
So can we move on?
Mm.
Okay. So here's an exercise. I want to test if you are a social media addict or if you're not a social media addict. So, what is your information consumption habit or diet like? This is an exercise. And since you guys didn't participate on the other one, I don't know how we're going to help each other participate on this one as well, because everyone is supposed to write down what their information habit is and share with me, and and then we can move on. So that diagram shows my information habit. What media content do I consume regularly, sites and platforms? I usually watch Netflix. I usually go on soccer betting website. Maybe I'm a soccer fan. I go on online education. I do gaming, a local troll page. A local troll page is a page where people diss each other. Um, and then what do I use? What technical device do I use to consume my information? So on Netflix, I use my television. On soccer betting website, I use my smartphone. On online education, I use my laptop. On gaming, I use my laptop. And a local troll page, I use my smartphone as well. So is there anyone who likes to share what they use, how they consume their information, or we move on?
So,
Hello. So you may.
yes, you can go on. Yeah, you can say.
I use YouTube in my mobile phone and laptop. I use Instagram in my mobile phone, and I use only these two social medias in which I provide my information.
Personally, I use my laptop for gaming and Netflix and everything else is on my laptop. Rest, WhatsApp, Instagram, I use my smartphone for all of that.
Okay, thank you so much. Can we have
I
another one? Move on.
I use YouTube and WhatsApp and laptop and smartphone and this may only and Zoom
Okay.
also in laptop.
Okay, thank you so much. And we're going to move on. Do you think that the information habits are contributing to the betterment of yourself and the community, or it is just less productive information? As for
Honestly,
myself,
oh,
As for myself, I think I consume so much information that sometimes information get overloaded in my head. I fail to control myself. I love watching movies on Netflix and I love sharing information. I do not even fact check if it's correct. And I wish to change. Why? Because at the moment I become dull. Why? Because the information I'm consuming is too much overload. Maybe I'm just watching useless videos on TikTok, and it's not even contributing to any of my professional development. It's not even contributing to my health because sometimes I watch these Netflix from 1 a.m. in the evening up to 5 a.m. in the morning. I sleep in the whole afternoon. So imagine sleeping the whole afternoon and doing less productive things. So I wish to change my habits. That was an example. So we can have another example. Do you think that the information habits are contributing to the betterment of yourself or the community, or it is just less productive information? And how do you wish to change your habit for the betterment of yourself and the community?
I wish to change my habit of social media so it will help me to engage more in useful things and I will not waste my time in social media.
Thank you so much.
yeah, for me, I would probably reduce social media as well because I spend so many hours scrolling and waste a lot of my time. But on other things like Netflix and all, I barely watch Netflix. And most of my work, I take a lot of good information. I try to take a lot of good information mostly. But the only one I would like to change is Instagram, Reels, all of these kind of things.
Thank you so much for mentioning about scrolling, anything, scrolling, and scrolling. We're going to get there at the next slide. Is there anyone who wants to add on?
No.
Okay, so we move on, right? So social media and disinformation. Social media is causing information overload to people, and you get overwhelmed by this information, fueling disorders such as disinformation and information overload. Some people will have sleeping disorders, and some people will face mental challenges because of the information that they are just scrolling, and not limiting themselves to this information. So internet freedom has made it increasingly difficult to establish and create a distinction between fabricated information. But this can only be combated by fact checking. Deepfakes, they are hyper-realistic images or videos that are being shared on social media platforms using artificial intelligence to combine existing videos onto new or old videos. What am I saying? For example, a professional footballer on a video speaking about something else different, and it doesn't even tally with what is being spoken about in the video. So these deepfakes, we find them everywhere, where we can see Messi dancing, but on a black background. But is Messi really dancing, or someone who just created that? So we need to be able to distinguish what artificial intelligence has brought to our communities. So next we have a video, and I want you to pay intensively attention to it so that you can be able to know what a deepfake is. Social deep learning algorithms and bots made it significant for online profiles and flood social media with high volumes of information to manipulate the public discourse. What am I saying? These algorithms and bots tend to collect all the information that you surf, that you scroll and everything, and it tends to give you the information that you want. The information that you usually scroll is the information that is being created. Have you been on a YouTube channel, or have you been on YouTube and you see on someone's YouTube exactly, and you see a number of cartoons there, and you find out, is this person really watching cartoons at his age, or the son is using their phone? So how can you tell that someone is watching cartoons on YouTube? You can tell by the algorithms and the information overload that is on the page. The moment you open YouTube, you just see this person watches more cartoons and more cartoons and more cartoons. And the adverts that you see on those cartoons, they are linked to the information that you see and that you search. So what am I saying? Listen to this video very well, and so that we can know what a deep fake is and how algorithm collects our information. So here's an example of a deepfake video and how we can spot a deepfake video. Anyway, NB, I do not own rights to this video. Listen carefully.
KPRC2 investigates deep fakes. You've seen those videos on the internet, politicians and celebrities saying and doing things that they never actually said or did.
And now everyday people are becoming targets. It's getting harder to spot those phonies.
Tonight's KPRC2 investigator Joel Eisenbaum has the top 5 ways to spot a deep fake.
His story, while sad, is not what you'd expect. In fact, he is not even human. This dude is a deep fake, AI, a computer-generated image. And so are these kids, 2 of my kids, now wearing their parents' faces, transplanted directly and seamlessly with an app.
In fact, the voice you hear right now is also not real. The voice you hear is not human. It is machine-made.
Maybe you can tell that's not really me, but boy, deep fakes are getting pretty good.
Sometimes it's, hey, there's this video. Can we tell if this is real or not?
Gary Hustis is a Houston-based digital forensic investigator, and he knows the deep fake space once.
Sorry, can we hear? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear it.
Okay.
All right, tonight, KPRC.
Correctly and seamless.
It is machine made.
Boy, deep fakes are getting pretty good.
Sometimes it's, hey, there's this video. Can we tell this is real or not?
Gary Hustis is a Houston-based digital forensic investigator, and he knows the deep fake space once reserved for politicians and celebrities is now making its way to everyday people. Does this sort of thing happen to non-celebrities?
Yes.
Why?
Could be a number of reasons.
Revenge and money top the list. And just this year, 2 separate local school districts have had to deal with deep fake issues. Teachers' heads fitted to porn star bodies. The suspected culprits, spiteful students. It's not funny when you're the target. And it's not cool getting duped either.
Yeah, so if you'd asked me this a year or two ago, I would have said, if you're looking at a photo of a person and you're not sure whether it's real or whether it was AI generated, one thing you might look at is the hands.
Early AI generated images often added too many fingers. That's gotten better, says U of H assistant professor Peter Salib.
Progress is has been extraordinarily rapid for the last, certainly the last year.
Even so, Professor Salib helped us formulate a list of how to spot deepfakes, at least for now. 1, those hands. 2, jagged face edges. 3, lip sync. Watch for it. Is it off? 4, skin texture. Is there a mismatch between the face and body? And finally, lighting differences overall. Know that, and you may be less likely to be fooled by this. To the untrained eye, I look like a woman. But you know better.
So we've watched this video, and what do you think about deepfakes? What do you think about deepfakes?
Honestly, videos of deep fakes right now are not as bad because the technology hasn't developed. But like the voice acting is like really has become really bad because you can perfectly mimic someone's voice and change what they actually.
Yeah, exactly. So your face can be used to create misleading information without you knowing that your face is being used to create misleading or information. Is there anyone who wants to say anything about deepfake videos? Okay, so we move on. So yeah, the ways to encounter disinformation on social media. We have to filter the content or the information we consume. We have to switch off our notifications. Like if we are not interested on the page, we simply tell the page that you're not interested so that you don't create the same information coming to you. And you respect the audience and the public interest and avoid spams. Turn off unnecessary notification on your tech devices and learn to say no. Set your boundaries. Do not accept all the cookies. I know everyone accepts the cookies so that they want to be on that page, right? Yes
I'm
or
guilty
no,
for this.
right? Yeah.
Yep.
And do you know what cookies are on social media or on the website that we visit? Do you know
Yeah,
what
they
cookies
basically
are?
track what you're doing, right?
Exactly. So this is what I was telling you earlier on. They collect all of your information and create what content you want to see. And it doesn't end there. Your information is also collected during all these processes of accepting cookies. But so if you see a page say accept all cookies, and you have to read before you say yes, I accept the cookies, because you don't know what you're accepting. And we have to find a balance and unplug regularly to social media. We have to limit ourselves. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to limit ourselves on how much time we spend on social media. Why? because we should be able to distinguish the difference between the information that we're eating, if it's contributing to yourself or it's not contributing to yourself. So we have to unplug. I've learned that maybe if I spend 1 hour on social media, that's enough for the day. Especially if the information that is important has been already received in my mind, I do not need to spend about 5 hours just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, because I'll be limiting and wasting my time. And check or trace source credibility. Here in Zimbabwe, we have our social media, we have our media houses as well. We know that this newspaper is sharing correct information and this newspaper is not sharing correct information. So at the end of the day, I'm able to distinguish if I'll be able to buy that newspaper or not. And other thing, we tend to watch news on television or on social media like YouTube that we don't even know if the source is credible. I know BBC, CNN, Al Jazeera, and all of those things, but there are other channels that are created to mislead you, lying to you that there are wars and wars and wars. Maybe there are no wars at the moment. So we have to check or trace source credibility and always fact check and block unnecessary websites. And let's intervene against disinformation in our society so that our parents, our children, our sisters, our brothers, and everyone else in the community will be able to distinguish the difference between misleading, false information, and real information. My mom is always on WhatsApp and she gets these Bitcoin messages and she wants to join the groups. So I was asking her the last time I saw the group and I was like, why are you in this group? And she said, because when you reach this level for Bitcoin, you get a lot of money and all of those things. And I was saying, did you fact check if you are really going to get money or not? Or this person is really investing on you? This person will send me $200, and at the end of the day, you don't get the doubled amount. So we have to teach our parents, teach everyone in the community about disinformation, misinformation, and let everyone be aware because we are living in a crazy world. Next. So here are the examples of fact-checking tools, like for articles, written articles. There's Dowera, there's factcheck.organization, there's Fact Check Hub, TW Explorer, and organizations' websites. Just don't hear MSF, Medicine Sans Frontiers, is giving out people some medication and you have to be at the hole by this time. Yet MSF on its page is not even sharing that information. So if you hear something like a vaccination program, or if you hear an organization is doing this, please go on their websites to see if these information or these programs are being run, or this information is just information to mislead people. Maybe if you reach to that wall, you'll be exploited. We never know. So for images and videos, we use image.google.ca, we use TinEye, findexit.com, Yandex, Deepway, and Invid. These are the fact-checking tools. So here's my homework to you. Do you think you can be able to establish a fact-checking club in your communities that can be used to curb misinformation or disinformation? So I all know that you guys are volunteers and you are working, maybe you're at school. Please let everyone know at school. Maybe if you create a club that teaches maybe people once or twice on misinformation so that everyone will be aware. Please don't limit yourself to this information. Share this information with everyone so that we can be able to combat disinformation and misinformation and be able to create better communities. Please just do not end here. You have learned something, share with your friend, share with your relatives, or even create clubs for us to combat misinformation and disinformation. So here's an educational video. I do not own rights to this video. This is to sum up what I have taught you today and what you've learned today on this webinar. And I hope I've shared something and everyone will be able to also share with someone else.
Who decides what do you see in your newsfeed? TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube are pretty good at showing you what you want. Most of what you don't support or are not interested in is filtered out. And there you are, in a filter bubble. Being inside a filter bubble means that you're intellectually isolated. But how can you be isolated on the internet? Let's find out. Imagine you're suspicious about vaccination. You see a post about it, you like it. You see a video with people talking about being against vaccination and share it. Later on, maybe you even make your own post using a hashtag that people who are against vaccination are using. Since social media platforms want to show you content you will enjoy, and these topics seem to catch your attention, you might see more and more posts from people who are vaccine skeptics. Suddenly, your whole feed is full of these posts. It might feel pleasant, like most people agree with you, but in reality, it doesn't necessarily mean that. You just can't see other points of view. Social media platforms apply algorithms that track what you search for, what you click on, what you like or dislike, what you comment on, and where you are, and then decide what is relevant for you. Search results, links, advertisements, and posts on Facebook all become tailored to your previous behavior online. What should you do to break free from your filter bubble? Number one, keep in mind that algorithms show you the information you prefer. You help create your own filter bubble. Interacting with content on other topics will allow for a more diverse feed. Number two, use incognito browsers. Delete your search history and clear cookies to decrease tracking. Number three, change settings on video platforms to avoid autoplay so you don't get sucked into rabbit hole of a particular topic. Number four, if you can, when browsing the internet, avoid being logged in on social media. Number five, stay open to different points of view, but never forget to consider the reliability of the information. Number six, always evaluate the source. Ask yourself, is this source credible? Don't skip this step just because a post confirms what you believe in. And number seven, consider how Google searches are often tailored to your location and past search history, not what is most credible or trustworthy. Stay alert.
So thank you so much, guys, for having me on this platform. And I hope this information doesn't end here. And I hope you guys are going to share with your communities, in your schools, workplaces, maybe at church, with your relatives, so that we can be able to combat the misleading information that is being shared on our social media handles. And to add on, please do not forget to share this presentation with other people at school or at workplace. It might be very, very helpful to them. So I just want to have two people, or if I ask everyone what they've learned so far, so that I'll be able to leave the meeting. Thank you so much. What have you learned so far?
We have learned that that we how can we recognize that what video is deepfake and what video is original, and how we can be active on social media.
Okay, thank you. Can I have another person?
Hmm. To use our time less in social media and gain some knowledge from uh, very insightful websites.
Okay, thank you so much. Can we have another person? Or maybe if I ask everyone who is on this webinar what they've learned, because I know someone might be cooking right now and maybe she was not on this, he or she was not on this webinar. She's busy cooking. So yeah, Isha Roy, what did you learn today?
We have learned about the disinformation, about like social media disinformation, like about the deepfake videos and what are the deepfake videos and what are the real videos, how we can recognize, we can differentiate between the deepfake videos and real videos.
Okay, I can see there is Violet on the platform. Violet, what have you learned from this webinar?
I have learned that there's a lot of misinformation and on the internet, and that social media platforms filter out the content that you actually see based on the engagement that you have with like post day in and day out. That is, in a sense, it consecrates you into a place that most people agree with you. Say, for example, if you like fashion, you will see pictures or videos or posts that are based on fashion mostly because social media pages use algorithms that just track your activity on social media. And just because that's the only content you're seeing, it doesn't mean that that is the only content that is there on the internet.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing that with me. And I'm really glad that you've said the word algorithm. And Vishal Tiwari is an observer, right? But may you kindly share with me what you've learned. Okay. Who else? Who else didn't say anything? Um, okay, thank you so much, guys. I hope, please do not forget to share this, what you've learned with me today and the other colleagues. And let's create a better community, a well-informed community. And for those who have energy, please let's create some checking clubs in our society so that we don't cause violence or disorder in our communities. Thank you so much for having me on this platform. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Miss Tsitsi. I request the participants to submit their doubts and questions in the chat box, and Miss Tsitsi will answer them accordingly. Hello.
So, Jaideep Kumatia has asked, how has the evolution of social media changed the nature and scale of disinformation compared to traditional media? So social media is easily accessible and it's very cheap. And therefore, back then, people used to travel maybe a kilometer to get newspapers or maybe to turn on the television. Maybe we don't have waves at the moment. And traditional media was quite complicated to access. Social media has changed the nature and scale of disinformation. Why? Because anyone can post anything at the moment, and it's easily accessible, and it's very cheap, and it has a wide reach. Imagine if I share that today the world ends today, and that post becomes viral and everyone sees it. So that's how bad social media has brought disinformation into our communities. And back then, people were not that technologically advanced. So we believed in our traditional media as compared to any other sources. So I think traditional media was much better than social media. Why? Because social media is accessible, cheap, and fast to receive disinformation. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you,
so
ma'am.
as we are near the closing ceremony, before we depart, we would like to thank Miss Tsitsi, Dinesh sir, Simran ma'am, Pradipta sir, and my responsible team members for making this webinar a success. Adore connects you with established professionals and offers a platform to earn from their journeys. So if anyone is interested, you can visit the website. We have shared a link in the chat box. We request you to give your valuable feedback. Once again, thank you everyone for joining. The webinar is now complete and you may leave the meeting.